You were in, of course, that UFC Puerto Rico with Gary Goodridge that they used that
Hmm.
as the highlights forever. But I understand you were pretty wild back then and were actually partying in Puerto Rico, where I've used to live there. I know how crazy it gets there and how cheap certain things can be there. I guess you went into that fight still kind of buzzed from the night before.
Yeah, I here's the thing. There had been a point in time in my life where I had like was very structured and I had trained and it's no joke to get into the national tournament and a D1 national tournament in place. You have to be kind of at a certain level, and so I had that kind of a background in me, but I didn't really discipline myself like that for the fight, and yeah, it wasn't the best preparation, but in my mind, honestly, in my mind, I was spending the 50,000. I thought I was going to win that tournament. Like it wasn't. I didn't think there was
Well,
anybody in there that was going to be able to withstand what I thought the tools that I had at the time. And so,
and if I could chime in there, that fight against Gary Goodbridge or whatever his name is, Goodridge Bridge, he had a tape of Paul training, and he knew that a high crotch was coming, and they set that whole thing up. I don't know how they got their hands on Paul, but he was at the advent of VHS cameras and all that, and Paul was making some videos of how to fight and everything, and that ended up getting to Gary Goodridge, and so he knew exactly what was going on. And Paul, in a fight, from what I've seen of him, is very calm, and his high crotch. And I've wrestled with this man for years, hundreds of hours on the mat, and he could still get his high crotch on me every now and then. And I know, so when he shot that high crotch, I was like, yeah, no big deal. And Paul's all calm and cool and collected, like, yeah, no big deal. Unwittingly, not knowing the fact that Gary knew exactly what was going on, so he sat right up. They sat around. They must have sat around for hours and days, even, and perfected a counter to his high crotch. They fall to your back and all that kind of stuff. No one was doing that in those days, and I hardly gander that anyone's doing it to these days, but they knew what Paul was going to do, and they were all ready for it. And we all saw what happened to him. It was just bad luck and bad timing. Otherwise, he would have got on top of Gary and knocked him into another world.
yeah, yeah,
And
there was a lot
I
of
can
stuff
tell you, don't underestimate Paul here. Like, I would bet my last dollar in my life that if he was to fight Tito, I would put my money on Paul. It wouldn't even be a fight. That's how easy it would be. And trust me, I've got hundreds of hours with Tito and Paul on the mat, so I know exactly. I know how Paul thinks, and I don't know if Tito can even think, but it wouldn't be a fight.